how to 10x your vision or improve your vision 10 times. No, this is not clickbait. This is a professional ophthalmologist's views, and this video is going to absolutely change your life. Hi, my name is Dr. Koheli Bhattacharya, and this video is especially for people who need to improve their vision 10 times more than normal people. Now, who are these people? If you are a sports person, if you play competitive sports, if you are in the military or in some kind of combat, then this video is especially for you. If you are a sports coach, then definitely watch this video. And if you are inside training military people, then this video is also going to be extremely useful for you. Hi, my name is Dr. Koheli Bhattacharya. So today, let's first talk about what generally people think is eyesight. And then let me tell you how to 10x it. Okay, so let me first come on this side. So what most people understand of vision is 6-6 vision or 20-20 vision. Now 6-6 vision is basically meaning that what a normal person can see at 6 meters, you can also see at 6 meters. What does something like 6 by 60 mean? 6 by 60 means that what a normal person can see from really far, from 60 meters or from really far, you need to be at 6 meters to see. So 6 by 60 is very poor vision. Say you want to have better vision than the normal person, then your vision would be 6'5" or 6'4" or 6'3". So what does 6'5" vision mean? That means normal people need to be as close as 5 meters to be able to see something, but you can see it from 6 meters away. So you can see it from a little further away. So a lot of people think that better eyesight, 10x vision, is basically improving this visual acuity. Instead of 6'6", doctor, can I be 6'5", can I be 6'4"? And this is what a lot of pilots, a lot of marine people who are in marine, they will come and ask me, doctor, how can I have 6'5" vision or 6'4" vision? A lot of sports people also will say that how can I have better vision? So this is what I want to say, that even if we get 6'5" vision or 6'4" vision, that is not going to give you the kind of 10x vision that you're looking for, which I'm going to be explaining today. So this was visual acuity. Now let us go into the 10 different things that make for 10x eyesight or 10x vision, or what is also called sports vision. So for sports vision, the first criteria is visual acuity, which can be 6'6". 6'6" wearing your glasses. It's not like 6'6" vision without glasses. If you have contact lens, or if you have done LASIK, or if you with your spectacles you can see 6'6", then that is fairly good enough, because once you wear your contact lenses, you can see 6'6" vision. Okay, so that is visual acuity. The next thing is called contrast sensitivity. So let me first explain what is contrast sensitivity and how important it is in combat and in sports. Contrast sensitivity is basically, this is blue on white. There is a high contrast in this. But what happens when you make the contrast less? That means either the background becomes light blue or the letters become light blue, meaning the shade becomes much lighter. Then even though the letters are the same size, the same thickness, you are going to see them lesser. So let me show you the same with this, this lighter 660 versus this one. So if I write this and I lightly rub it, or I lightly rub this so that it's much lighter. Do you see how much more difficult it becomes to read? So this is contrast sensitivity. The contrast between the background and your object is lighter, and that is exactly how life is, right? My face is not like a smiley face with, on a white background, a black round with 2 eyes and a smiley. There are shades in it, and that is exactly the kind of shades which you are going to see in combat, in sports. So in combat, you see camouflage wear, a green dress against a green background. So how are you going to be able to see that? In sports, when the ball is coming right at you, there's good contrast. But when it's really high and the sky is light blue, or the sky, or there are floodlights, all of a sudden when there are floodlights, the contrast between what you want to see and what you would see on a normal day is different. So contrast sensitivity is very important, and we can test for contrast sensitivity by using shaded cards. Okay, so that's the first. How can you see when the thing is much lighter shade, or the difference between the background and the object is lighter? The next is depth perception, which is very simple to understand. How far is an object? How close is an object? What is the distance between the two objects? Very important in combat, very important in sports, very important if you are a pilot, very important in any kind of visual acuity. Okay, so that doesn't just depend on visual acuity, it's the depth perception. Again, we can test for depth perception. We can help you improve your perception of your depth. The next is called accommodative facility. What is accommodative facility? It is being able to focus and see very clearly something close by, and then being able to focus and very clearly see for distance. So this needs a lot of things. First of all, the eyes have to diverge. Then the lens inside the eye has to flatten for accommodation. So it will flatten, the lens inside the eye is going to flatten, the muscles are going to diverge, and that's going to give you good focus for distance. The minute you need to see something close by, now the lens inside the eye has to become rounder. So that's called accommodation. And the eyes have to converge. That's called convergence. So how fast can you go from this convergence accommodation to divergence accommodation is called accommodative facility. So that is required in so many sports, in so many different situations where you are here, you catch the ball and then you have to throw it at the wicket. Understood? So when you've caught the ball, your eyes were in a certain thing. But by the time you have to look up, diverge your eyes, focus on the wicket and then hit it at the wicket is called accommodative facility. How fast can you do that would depend on accommodative facility. You can improve accommodative facility. You can test for accommodative facility. Now tell me, if you had better accommodative facility, would you not have 10x eyesight? Would you not have better eyesight than someone who's just a 6'6"? The next thing we go into is called perception span. Now perception span is, again, imagine a bowler is bowling at the wicket, but he also has the perception span of who is moving where are the other players, how it is moving. Very important even in combat. You are at the target, you are aiming at the target, but you also need to know who's coming from the sides. Are these my people? Is there a movement in the grass? How the entire movement of people is happening is called perception span. Knowing while you are targeting at one thing, how big is your visual field, or perception span is also called visual field. The next thing is called reaction time. Fairly simple. Now reaction time is when there are four objects and we say, when one says black, you hold the black, red. How fast can you move from one to the other is called reaction time. Reaction time depends on audio clues and then you do a visual activity. So reaction time depends on someone giving you an audio clue and then you reaching for it. So if your teammate shouts, how fast can you react to the audio clue or the audio cue with your visual side? So if your teammate shouts for you, how fast can you track the sound? How fast can you move when they have said it? You can test by when someone says red, can you go for the red as fast as so? If can you follow orders really fast is what is your reaction time. The next thing is called target capture. Now target capture depends on how fast can you react to visual clues. Okay, so understanding the difference between reaction time is audio cues, while target capture is visual clues. So if someone says red and me going for the red is called reaction time. But say these are light bulbs and if the red one lights up and I hold that, then the orange one lights up, how fast can I react to the visual clues, that is the light popping up And how fast I can react to that is called target capture. So in combat, you can understand that whenever the light goes off, you saw it and you could hit that target the minute that light happened, the minute something else happened, you could react for the visual clues. Even in sports, you'll know that when the ball is coming, how fast can you move towards that? That is your target capture. How fast can you reach for the ball because of your visual clues. The next is called eye-hand coordination. Again, fairly simple to understand. It's one thing to see it really fast, but it's another thing to be able to move your entire body and capture it. That is your eye-hand coordination. Eye-hand coordination would be important for combat where you're using your hands, or in cricket. But you would need a eye-foot coordination if you're playing football. You need to be able to move your eye and foot. In, say, basketball, you would need to do eye-hand coordination, but you would also need to be able to look up and see the basket as well. So eye-hand coordination has to deal with your right, left, multiple things. I'm going to show you that on another chart, what I mean by eye-hand coordination and how much goes into making the eye-hand coordination. Okay. Now, after eye-hand coordination, let's talk about go, no-go. Very, very important concept. So what is go, no-go? Go, no-go is you have to hit the enemy. You are not supposed to hit your teammates. So that is go, no-go. So being able to just see objects is one thing, but to be able to choose, am I going to act on this or am I not going to act on this? So go is to actually catch the ball. No go is letting those balls go. So if I throw a red ball at you and a green ball at you, and I say that all the red balls you are going to do a no go, meaning not capture those and catch only the green balls, that is also a visual switching that you need to do, and that is going to help you both in sports where say in football you are not trying to tackle your own teammates and you are taking the ball only from the other team. So that is in football, go, no go. And of course in combat or in any kind of war situation, you understand that your teammates you are not going to be hitting, or civilians you are not going to be hitting, but it's the enemies that you're going to be capturing. So you can see that in video games, you can see that in any kind of sporting event, that there is always an element of go, no go in all kinds of, be it video games, be it sports, or be it combat. The next thing is called multiple object tracking. At any given point of time, there is not just one thing happening on the field, be it a sporting field, or if you are in a video game world, also you are fighting with someone, but your teammate is also fighting with someone else. So having this multiple tracking thing is also a type of visual skill. A visual skill, why do I say? Because we can assess for it, we can train for it, we can get better at multiple tracking objects. How do we, a simple example, how do we train for this is that we have multiple balls which are in the air and which are shaking, which are hung, and you are supposed to say the numbers on each one of them as you are moving through space. So you say it's A, B, 2, 3, 6. So you are able to move through space but be able to see what is happening in your periphery with other things. So that is called multiple object tracking. The next thing is called perception versus sight. Such a beautiful concept. For this, I want to explain using one of the superhero characters whose name is Daredevil. Now, Daredevil is supposed to be blind or almost blind. So he is almost blind in both eyes, but he is also a superhero. He can fight. He can capture people. He can do a lot of things. How can he do it? That is because he has perception without sight. And perception is also a sense. Perception is also a sense, and if you can, and it is also a skill, and you can train for perception. And if you have a good sense of sight, then you can get that amazing superhero quality in your sports, in your video games, in your combat, in any kind of military situation where you just have a sense that something moved that side and you can hit it, or you have a sense that the ball is coming from here and you can catch it when you're not even seeing it. You just have a sense of it happening around you. Even as surgeons, sometimes there is a sense, a perception, like there's a lot of bleeding happening and you're trying to cautery, and that's because as a surgeon I can give you this example because I'm not in sports or in combat. So when you are soaking up and you are not aware where is the artery which is bleeding, but the minute they sponge the area or and you get a slight sensation, a slight perception of where the artery, and you can go in and cauterize it and or artery it, and that is when people say, wow, that was almost a superhero feat, when you can do perception as well as eyesight, when you can get the sense of perception. And we can train for perception using flicker goggles, using fogging goggles, where you actually reduce your vision, where you have lesser sensation, and then now you have to depend on your sense of sight. Your sense, you perceive things rather than see them. You just have a perception that the ball is coming towards you. You have a perception of people moving around you. So you have less vision. So we actually try to reduce your visual acuity in those conditions. From 6.6, we might make you a 6.36 vision and give you fogging goggles or flicker goggles, which reduce your vision, and then train you to catch the balls, train you to play basketball or hit the ball in cricket, or even a simulation of combat situations. And if you can perform well with a 6.36 vision, with low eyesight conditions. Now where would this be very important? Say there's a very blazing hot sun on the day that you're playing your game, or it starts to rain while you're playing the game, or the floodlight lights are very too much for you, or you are sweating too much, or you just have a blackout because of the nervousness, which we're going to go into the next thing. And at those times, perception kicks in. If you are in a combat zone, definitely you can understand. If you are even in a flying zone, you can understand if it gets very foggy, if it gets cloudy, if it's lightning and thunder, and it's raining, and you cannot just depend on your eyesight at those times. You need to depend on your sense of sight. Your sense of sight is called perception. The last bit we go into is called nervous system regulation. What do I mean by nervous system regulation? Now here, what happens is that when you are training in a field, when you are in the best of mood, when everything is going well, and you know that this is just a simulation, no one is going to get hurt, no team is going to lose, your country is not going to feel bad about you, tens and thousands of people are not looking at you in the stadium, or tens of thousands of people's lives don't depend on you if you're in a combat situation, or there is nothing at stake. When you are training in that kind of situation, it's much easier to catch the ball. It's much easier to hit the ball. So as a sports person, you would know that situation, that it's much easier to play when there is nothing at stake. So training for high stake situations. So putting yourself in a dysregulated nervous system, or dysregulating your nervous system and coming back to a regulated nervous system. I do have certain videos on how to do nervous system regulation, which I will link below. There's another video which we made called How to Be Brilliant. That is another very good video to see that how can you be brilliant in situations which are tough, like exam situations or sporting contests or even war situations. So how to regulate for your nervous system. One thing is first learning how to tips of nervous system regulation. That could be vagus system stimulations, or mind work, or thought work, or breath work, or breathing exercises, or shaking, or somatic exercises that can help you regulate your nervous system. You can reach out to me. We have an entire module on nervous system regulation. And the next thing is actually training for dysregulation. That is getting comfortable, feeling uncomfortable. There is another video of mine called getting comfortable, feeling uncomfortable, and how you can do that for yourself, like taking cold showers, ice baths, putting yourself in difficult situations can train you to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. In sporting conditions, we can also make you uncomfortable by asking you to recite something, asking you to do tables of something, asking you maths questions, asking you some kind of questions while you are training with all these different visual concepts. So I hope you took away a lot from this video. The first thing which you took away is that 6-6 vision is not going to make you a great sportsman, a great video player, or a great, someone very good in the war zone. So you need to 10x your vision when you want to be extremely good at your sport or be extremely competent at your work. And these are all the components that go into making sports vision or 10x vision. Thank you for following. Don't forget to ask me some questions below in the comments. Also like and subscribe to this video and send this video to your friends who are into sports, who are sports coaches, who are in the military, because this is knowledge that could save lives, that could save matches.